Welcome to yet another show of Speak Out. Today, our topic of discussion is land allotment and biodiversity issues in University of Hyderabad. We have with us Professor Seshagiri Rao, Department of Plant Sciences, Dr. Soumya from Department of Comparative Literature, Mr. Darshan Singh, who is the senior most non-teaching staff of the university, and Abhishek, an MPhil student from Department of Philosophy. Welcome all of you. As we all know, in the last 10 years, university has been being bothered by this land allotment and biodiversity issues. And recently also, the University of Hyderabad Teachers Association has conducted a biodiversity walk to protest the land allotment to National Institute of Design and National Institute of Animal Biotechnology. So, in light of this, let us see what the students of the university have to say.
I don't support it. I'm skeptical of the motivations behind why they would do such a thing. And this is because, as we all know, we are a central university, and a precondition of that is that land must be public because we do not belong to a state government. We belong to the central government, the union, and it seems redundant to me that a university that essentially belongs to the union will have private land within its boundaries, because that seems against the very purpose of the creation of the university.
University is like losing on its land, and where it could have like developed on its infrastructure. It's like giving it off to other universities or other institutions for their development. So instead of doing that, maybe university can keep those land and use it for developing more infrastructures, or building up more departments or schools or something like that.
Biodiversity, here we have so many lakes and also that and even some places which are very picnic spots and all, like places people go and they enjoy. So if those land and all given for construction and all, so that nature wise it is not good for giving all those lands for constructing the buildings.
So, looks like most of the student community are not favorable for land allocation. Professor Rao, can you comment on the issue as to what is the main problem behind land allocation?
As such, I can see that one construction am different and biodiversity is different. For institutes, for universities, we require some larger area to demonstrate biodiversity and environment as such. Actually, minimum 1,000 acres are necessary. If you take abroad institute, they have bigger campuses. They will build up a lot of infrastructure. But what the students are asking, we require hostels, we require some big buildings, our own people and other things. The buildings as such, we have to develop in such a way, like development requires in a systematic way. We do not have any planned program or systematic way. Yes. We are building whatever we want and we are destroying our own land as such. We have good area of vegetation and environment. It should be exemplify next future. So within the what we call Hyderabad, this is the only greenest area available. If you lose this area and we cannot show this area the next generation, we have to go somewhere else, maybe somewhere in the 200 kilometers away from this area, and we have to show like that. But as such, what students are telling is different.
Yes.
And our academic purpose is different.
So, Dr. Soumya, coming to what students are speaking, they say that they want more infrastructure, that is why land allotment shouldn't be done. So, do you think the way university has been going and the number of new buildings that have been coming up, so do you think the university has enough funds to build so many buildings or raise the infrastructure according to the land that is there, or is it okay for them to give allotments?
I don't think it's a question of funding.
Yeah.
See, there are different kinds of development, as Professor Rao has just indicated. One, development of the university. So what is the kind of development is possible and required for a university academically as an institution.
Yeah.
And then what's the other kind of development for the university? I don't see any other kind of development. The only development is the development of the university as an institution. And in order for that, I think we have enough space. There is no question of funding,
Yes,
because
yes.
funding comes from whatever sources. But then allocation of land to other institution is definitely a problem, as students have been talking about. And why is it a problem, allocation of land to other mainly private sector institution? One, because there is no, how do we benefit from such a collaboration, from such allocation of land? Do we benefit academically? Do we benefit in any, what is the kind of research collaboration possible? So these questions, if they are addressed in a much more systematic way, then maybe it's beneficial to all students, like she pointed out, the TFR kind of collaboration. But then we see that it's not happening in the university, with the example of Institute of Life Sciences, ILS, which is on campus, which is a private enterprise in collaboration with the university. But then we see that not much envisaged in the MOU is happening with regard to ILS. So then that's a failure of the collaboration, which university has allotted land, given them land, and then there's nothing happening between the two institutes. But then, as one person pointed out there, land is not with the central or the union. University land is with the state government. In fact, university is supposedly trying to get the name, get the land registered in its own name, which has not happened so far. So any land for that matter in India is a state property, it's not a central property. Whether it is central university or a state university, this is with the state. And so especially with the KIP, Knowledge Innovation Park agitation that happened last year, it was under the state government's instructions that the university had to isolate the land for industrial purposes, and again it was taken back. It's not that the state has absolute right over the land, but then university can have a say. But how we go about it, in what, is there a structured plan towards the development of land, towards isolation of land? That there is no, I don't think there is a plan regarding that, which should be there.
Okay. तो दर्शन जी, आप बोलिए, आप इतने साल से यूनिवर्सिटी में हैं, तो कितना, आप जब पहले यहाँ पे आए थे तो कितना लैंड था, और मतलब कैसे दिया गया लोगों को, और आपका क्या ये है?
देखिए, जब मैं यूनिवर्सिटी में आया 1975 में, ये लैंड जो दी गई यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ हैदराबाद के लिए 6 पॉइंट फार्मूले के तहत यहाँ एक यूनिवर्सिटी बने, और वो यूनिवर्सिटी विद्यार्थी बच्चों को पढ़ाई लिखाई के वास्ते, ये लैंड जो दी गई थी 2260 एकड़ ज़मीन, इस ज़मीन को किसी को राइट नहीं है लेने का, सिवाय पार्लियामेंट के से इसको कोई अगर लेना है तो लेना है, जब तक इसको कोई नहीं ले सकता। और ये लैंड लेने के बाद सबसे पहले जो वाइस चांसलर थे प्रोफेसर गुरुबख्श सिंह ने, उन्होंने इस लैंड के अतराफ कंपाउंड वाल बनाई, जो 13 किलोमीटर की कंपाउंड वाल है। लोगों ने बहुत बवाल मचाया कि ये चाइना वाल बना रहे हैं, वो बना रहे हैं। तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं, जो भी मैं बना रहा हूँ यूनिवर्सिटी में स्टूडेंट के बेनिफिट के लिए, आगे चल के इसका यूनिवर्सिटी में स्टूडेंट बहुत फ़ायदा उठाएंगे। और जिस टाइम पे मैं यहाँ आया था उस टाइम तो बहुत जंगल था, बहुत काफ़ी स्टूडेंट थे, हमारे बच्चे बहुत कम थे। आज 37 साल के बाद मैं देखता हूँ तो इतने स्टूडेंट हैं, मेरे को देखने में इतनी खुशी होती कि काफ़ी बच्चे हलचल में मेरे को नज़र आते हैं। शायद आने वाले और एक 20-25 साल में इस यूनिवर्सिटी में काफ़ी बच्चों की संख्या बढ़ जाएंगी और जगह कमी महसूस होने लगेंगी। तो इसीलिए मैं ये चाहूँगा कि ये जगह किसी प्राइवेटेशन को देने का किसी को हक नहीं है, ये किसी को नहीं देना, ये सिर्फ स्टूडेंट के लिए जगह दी गई और स्टूडेंट के वास्ते रखा गया। स्टूडेंट है तो फैकल्टी है, और स्टूडेंट है तो एम्प्लॉयज़ भी है। स्टूडेंट को सबसे ज़्यादा महत्व था, उस टाइम दी गई। और एक एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल में प्रोफेसर गवर्नर हमारे अकबर अली खान साहब गुरुबख्श सिंह साहब को पूछते हैं कि भाई आप इतनी बड़ी दूर में इतनी बड़ी जगह लेके क्या करेंगे? तो गुरुबख्श सिंह साहब का यही जवाब था कि साहब जी ऐसे नहीं है, मेरे को अगर और 100-150 एकड़ भी दिए, ज़्यादा 1000 एकड़ भी दिए तो मेरे को कम है, क्योंकि आने वाले दिन में ये एरिया स्टूडेंट के एजुकेशन के लिए बहुत अच्छा है। और आज वो साबित हो रहा है कि अतराफ चारों तरफ जब देखते हैं तो एजुकेशन का काफ़ी अच्छा माहौल बना हुआ है। तो ये जो जगह है वो स्टूडेंट के वास्ते है और ये किसी प्राइवेट में नहीं देना। पिछले टाइम में जो है प्रोफेसर सैयद हसनैन ने काफ़ी प्राइवेटेशन में जगह दी, तो हम लोगों ने जॉइंट एक्शन कमेटी, फैकल्टीज, स्टूडेंट और एम्प्लॉयज़ मिलकर उसको रोका, केयर को रोका, केवीपी को रोका, क्योंकि ये जगह हमारी स्टूडेंट के वास्ते बचाए रखना है। तो हम तो यही चाहते हैं, हम आज हैं नहीं रहेंगे, लेकिन जो एम्प्लॉयज़ है वो और जो बच्चे आज पढ़ के जाएंगे भी, जो बच्चे पढ़ेंगे उनके लिए उनका भी फ़र्ज बनता और फैकल्टीज़ का भी फ़र्ज बनता कि जितनी ज़्यादा जगह हो सके वो स्टूडेंट के वास्ते रोक के रखे, ताकि आने वाले 50 साल में ये जंगल में पूरा यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट ही स्टूडेंट नजर आएंगे, क्योंकि इदारे बढ़ते जा रहे। जिस टाइम हम यूनिवर्सिटी चालू किए थे उस टाइम तो हमारे डिपार्टमेंट कम थे। 1986 में ये डिपार्टमेंट आया, स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेस के डिपार्टमेंट्स कई आए, धीरे धीरे डिपार्टमेंट्स बढ़ते चले गए। स्टूडेंट जैसे जैसे डिपार्टमेंट बड़े स्टूडेंट बढ़ने लग गए, उनके फैसिलिटीज़, जैसे बच्चों ने कहा हॉस्टल की फैसिलिटीज़ वगैरह, वो भी जो है उनके हिसाब से उनको डेवलपमेंट हुई है। और सरकार उसके ऊपर तो जो भी देंगी, या हमारे जो चलाने वाले, जैसे पिछले टाइम पल्ले रामाराव साहब, कोटा हरिनारायण साहब ने जो है काफ़ी फंड ला के काफ़ी बिल्डिंगों के वास्ते उन्होंने डेवलप किया। और ये मेरे को उम्मीद है कि ये वाइस चांसलर साहब भी जो है इसके लिए काफ़ी फंड्स ला के स्टूडेंट के वास्ते कई डिपार्टमेंट, नए डिपार्टमेंट और कई जो है संस्थाएं खोलकर बच्चों को तालीम दे, ये मैं ऐसा चाहूँगा।
So Abhishek, as a student, what do you think, how much does this land allocation matter to you, and how much importance does this have to you as a student?
See, I agree with everything everyone has said so far today. It's absolutely essential. As a student, I would also like my hostels to be better and have more facilities to study and empower myself with, or help with my education. But I think there is one more issue which I think Professor Sheshigiri Rao pointed out, which is not being touched here, is the quality of the land itself. I don't think there's any other campus in India which can boast of a jungle with what we have, or 5 lakes, or so much. There is potential here, I think, also for a form of education, or a stream of education in which the university hasn't yet dealt with, which is conservation studies or environmental studies on a larger scale. I have friends who are studying environmental studies, and I know their institutes send them spending so much money to different places to study, to actually get field experience. But I think in a campus like this, there is potential at least for that form of exploration educationally. So, but the most important thing for me, what really got to me about the land here and the university here, is in some sense the aesthetic of it. It's extremely beautiful. I don't find a need to sit in a room and study, or at least I'm not left with that only option that I have to sit in a room or in a library and study. I have the option to go outside and sit under a tree, which is a luxury, I think, today. And given the titles the government and various other institutes and newspapers and the media have given the institute, a university, of being the biggest lung space in Hyderabad, right? And it's true, because I guess there are only about 2-3 large green areas within the city, apart from KBR Park. Towards this side, I think the university is the only such a big chunk of green area which exists. Given that, I think it's somewhere a little ironic that in our form of development, we give away land in the corner of a forest where there's no other building, and giving away that land would mean removing so much more forest to get to that, right? For example, if NIB has to be connected to the university, it would mean constructing a road from the men's hostel K and the new coming hostels all the way through the forest and to that point. So you are actually cutting off more and more of the jungle. So there is this form of development which the faculty have pointed out. But my heartfelt desire and my wish is to see this campus green for as long as it can stay green, right? Is for the animals to survive alongside us, because you don't get to do this in any other campus, in most other universities I can think of.
So here, after this round of discussions, we have come across a lot of interesting points ranging from biodiversity to revenues to future of the students. Let's take a short break and come back to Speak Out in a few minutes. Stay tuned.
So a noun is a person, place, or thing. A verb is an action word. Max, something to share with the class? Come on. Shh. Thank you. How tired I am of this unbearable distance between us. How I long for the toll of the recess bell. Have you forgotten me? Grown mindless of me? Tell me I am not riding into an abyss, or that is what will become of my heart.
Help provide books to schools in dire need. Support the Indigo Love of Reading Fund.
Welcome back to Speak Out. In this land allocation issue that we are speaking about, biodiversity seems to be the major problem. So let us just see a clip. It is Professor Prabhakar Rao from Center for Study of Foreign Languages.
It would be better if the university will come up a policy for allotting land. The land should be allotted only for the public institutions. That allotment should take care of the requirements, present and future requirements of the university, and if the university thinks that there is an extra land available with the university, then university can take a decision for allotting land. However, that allotment should be made, as I said, only to the public, either central government or state government institutions. And also, this allotment should be made keeping in view the requirements of these institutions. Otherwise, we are allotting, for example, recently the university has allotted land for the Institute of Animal Biotechnology, I think, Animal Biotechnology. 100 acres or 150 acres. Is it really required?
So like Professor Prabhakar Rao said, there should be strict policies on land allotment. So even if there are strict policies, and even if the land is given only to public firms, like how he has mentioned, what do you think will be the repercussions on the biodiversity issue of our campus? So,
as such, we have left over only little land. That is, little land means it is about I think around 1500 acres. Now we should stop. This is the time to stop to allocating whether it is public or private. If you are allotting public means every year for public institute means you can add up 10 years how many public institution, how many acres it will give, it will be going on. That is depleting. At least we should stop at this moment. And as we discussed earlier, this area must be in toto, we should be protected until now. We should forget about whatever happened in future. Yes. We should think about, or whatever happened is past, we should think about future. Let us start. And I think there should not be any discrimination about private or public. We should stop allocating the land to any other person. That is my opinion. Right. To protect our biodiversity and this environment in that, within the Twin Cities.
Right. So Abhishek, what do you think?
No, I would just probably like to add on to what Professor Sheshagiri Rao was saying, because it's not just a question of giving land for, okay, it is a question of giving land for academic benefits and for development, but it's, I think the question also is at what cost? Because when you give a land, you're also looking at providing electricity, providing roads, providing water, taking away the sewage. And it's, our campus geography as such is quite interesting because we have a dynamic range of geographic features present, from ridges to small hillocks to lakes to wetlands to dryland to scrub forest. So you have a wide variety. Now, on what grounds are you giving away land to anyone, be it even for our own development? If you want to, for example, create a building in the middle of the forest, why would you do that? Why would you not rather place the building around where there are more buildings already? So it's not a question of not developing, but I think he's right when you say giving away land right now should be stopped, because the wildlife and the environment we have, the flora, the fauna, even the general aesthetic of this place is not something which personally I would like to lose, and it's something which I feel has a very big impact on the way the university functions and the kind of work that goes on within. Because my first day when I walked in here, what really got me about this place was there was so much space, there was so much greenery, there were so many trees, there were flowers, I could walk and there was a breeze, there were birds, and you can see the stars at night. You can do a lot of things which I know I sound somewhat like a hopeless romantic, but I think my point is beside that. It's more serious. Is what also we do to the land once we begin to use it. Right? It's not that we take on responsibility to ensure that our environment retains most of its essential qualities or how it used to function before. We don't account for these larger relations which exist in nature, the smaller interconnecting relations between rocks, for instance, and lizards and insects, and the birds and the water which flow nearby. I think we're sort of oblivious of all this when we develop.
Right.
And in that mode, developing that mode is more harmful than anything else.
सो दर्शन सिंह जी, आप बताइए, जब से आप कैंपस में आए थे और अभी ये ग्रीनरी, वाइल्ड लाइफ सब कैसे बदला है?
बाद में 86 में के हमारे रजिस्ट्रार के.सी. रेड्डी साहब आए, उन्होंने आने के बाद ग्रीनरी को ज़्यादा तवज्जो दिया। ये जितनी भी हमारे पास की जो पार्कें हैं, झाड़ें हैं, जितनी लगी हुई है, उस टाइम एक DNS प्रोजेक्ट उन्होंने लाया। उस प्रोजेक्ट के तहत 150 एम्प्लॉयज़ को उन्होंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे रख के काफ़ी झाड़ें जो लगाई पूरी, जिसकी वजह से आज अगर शहर का तापमान 40 डिग्री रहा तो यहाँ 37-38 रहता, 2-3 डिग्री कम रहता। ये उसी वजह से है। तो हम यही चाहेंगे कि ये ग्रीनरी को डेवलपमेंट रखते हुए आगे के लिए काम करे। और जैसे अभी साहब ने बताया, ज़मीन जो देने की बात हुई, तो टाटा को जब जगह दी गई तो हम पूरे स्टूडेंट और फैकल्टी सर हमने मिलकर रोका उसको कि भाई ये 200 एकड़ ज़मीन हम टाटा को देना नहीं है। उस पर मैंने बहुत स्ट्रगल किया। मैंने कहा इतना बड़ा तेलंगाना का एजुकेशन चल रहा है, गवर्नमेंट को चाहिए कि कोई तेलंगाना के किसी दूसरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट दूर में जाकर दो ताकि वो एरिया डेवलपमेंट होगा। ऑलरेडी हमारे पास डेवलप हो रहा है, इसमें आके उनको दे के हमारे संगत और परेशानी करने की क्या ज़रूरत है? फ्यूचर में हमारे बच्चों को जगह कम पड़ेंगी। इस सिलसिले में मेरे को DSP अरेस्ट करके लेके भी गया। तो मेरा बोलने का मतलब है कि ये ऐसे जगह है किसी को देना नहीं है, सिर्फ ये जगह है हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट के लिए रखना है।
Dr. Soumya, from when you were here, any distinct changes in biodiversity or the environment of the university that you see?
I'll give you something personal. The very first time I came to Hyderabad, in '98, that was for my MA, when I took a bus from Koti with my father to the campus, that was 217. And from Mehedipatnam, it was just rocks. And then my father is not a person who travels much, who likes traveling. He came just 3 or 4 years back again. And he couldn't simply recognize the place. The rocks are gone. There's hardly anything that is left. That is just outside the campus. But then that is an indication of how things are changing. I think that also reflects on what's happening inside the campus as such. Inside the campus, beyond the Peacock Lake, I can see there are a lot of rock formations which are giving away to what sort of buildings, I have no idea. And that was a place, and we were a group of students who loved rock climbing, not in a professional sense, but just as fun and exploring stuff during our student days. Even now when I take my kids for cycling or a walk, I see n number of things that has changed. One, I was just telling Professor Rao, I could see a lot of green snakes on the trees during my student days. I have not seen one in the past 6 years, let us say, not even one. And these small kind of things, and Professor Rao also mentioned porcupines. We see a lot of wild boars which are not under threat, which he is an authority about. But porcupines, you just don't see them on campus anymore. Or antelopes, or deers, or there are so many small insects. As Abhishek was also pointing out, there are many things in the last 15 years I've been here that one could see you need not try hard to see them. Today even sighting a peacock is a wonder. which was not so some time back. It was a common occurrence, right? So there is a very obvious change. Development, alienation of land to outsiders, whether public or private, like all of us have said, I think should be stopped.
Right.
What does a policy do? A policy just gives you a plan to how and when you can allot land to anybody else. And such a policy means that there is a possibility of giving away university land, whether now or in the future. So maybe the policy should just be that stop land alienation.
Let's see what Professor Shivram Padikal from the Center of Foreign Languages has to say.
Initially, when the suggestion came, as far as I know, from the earlier Vice Chancellor, he wanted to create, according to him, actually he wanted to create a educational hub in our university, allotting and giving space for other educational institutions. So we have to distinguish between two kinds of land distribution attempts. One is to give it to private parties like Care Hospital, which has been installed, and to give different educational institutions. But one thing we need to keep in mind that a university is not for a particular period or something of that sort. It will grow over the years, and it is going to stay here over the years, several years. So we need to think about the space that university actually needs for its own purpose, not only today but also in future. In that sense, I think distributing the land to others is not a very good idea.
Since we are talking about biodiversity, how it's being affected, so keeping apart land allocation, I think university community is also equally responsible for the pollution and the wildlife that is going off these days. So what do you people have to say about the university community that is being involved in this?
As such, university community for land issue we cannot do. But thing is, as such, our own way, we should think about this diversity belongs to us. That means everything belongs to us, and it should be transferred to future generation. Like that, we should attach to the campus. So like that, we can make it. First of all, we should ask our administration or our policy makers to build up all the wall I told around the campus, whichever is the breached and other things we have to construct. Another thing is construct a jeepable road, that means walkable road around the campus, so that every campus person or campus community person, at least they can have a walk, so that other persons they can visit. Like that, we can not only security, even everybody should think about security of our campus. And likewise, we should not allot, as I told, we should not allot whether it is public or private institution future. So that at least with these 1500 acres, if we keep it, so 1500 acres means for our own purpose we may require 500 acres more, because it has to grown up 100 years more now. We may think about like that, and we should stop totally public or private, and we should think about our and good, what we call as a planning is necessary presently.
So Dr. Some, any comments?
As of now, I can think of 4 things. One thing, stop allotment of land, which all of us have said. Second is, of course, construction is required for university purposes, right? For the development of the university. If there is a construction, let it be a planned construction which takes into consideration all the diversity that exists in the university. As of now, there's an unwritten rule that university construction won't happen. What's this? Vertical. There's no vertical construction that happens. There is only horizontal expansion of the university. That is, you build buildings wherever you can, so that others won't ask or encroach your land. That's the unwritten policies. That should stop. Have a planned construction taking into consideration all these things. And the other thing is that the water bodies are in a bad shape on campus.
Right.
I think care should be taken. Again, as Abhishek pointed out, everything is interconnected, as all of us know. So once the water bodies are set right, I think a lot of other things will fall in place. And another important thing which I feel a lot about is waste management on campus. I think we have no waste management policy at all. That it should come from the highest level, from the VC's office. I think a planned waste management is what we require right now for a start.
So,
If I can just jump in on that, it's actually quite interesting to see that if you follow the gradient of Peacock Lake, where the lake is supposed to originate, we have sewage lines coming in from external sources in the university. So it seems like the university has also become a source where waste from other places can come in and settle down. And see, our local waste management, we're supposed to have a zero waste management program, but I don't know how much of it actually works, because around most buildings you find the waste just disseminates around the building itself, which is the first problem.
yes.
The second problem is how we do deal with the waste is we have about 200 square meter landfill, which is almost perennially burning throughout the year, where just waste is dumped, you set it on fire, you continue to keep it on fire and just keep adding more waste. That doesn't actually help with any of the problems, right? See, it's what is actually really worrisome is the fact that most action, when we say we have to do some environmental action around campus, it usually revolves action around buildings. We don't understand how much the waste begins to move into the forest. Right? For example, when we go for a walk, it just might be a very innocent walk to go watch the sunrise or the sunset, but you might eat a packet of biscuits and unwittingly you just leave the packet lying around. But you see, it begins to go and collect in places where it's not supposed to, which is a problem with the way we just deal with our own waste, because where we bury our waste or where we burn our waste is right next to a water body and is in the middle of the forest, almost on a very nice rock body. Right? And we have 4 or 5 lakes, out of which all of them drain out into one larger catchment area, which is unfortunately or fortunately just off campus. But the point is, everything is headed towards one direction, and in the direction it's headed towards, it's traveling through campus. So any effluents or any poisonous or toxic substances which is flowing in the water is bound to get caught to the land or is bound to get carried forth. Like, if you know, I'm pretty sure all of you would have noticed that the check dam on the way to South Campus, you find a lot of algal growth, and this was a couple of years ago, was where all the fish were floating dead on the surface overnight. So we have serious issues which have to be addressed with utmost urgency, I think.
Yeah, these are the serious biodiversity issues that we are talking. Let's take a short break. Keep watching Speak Out. We'll come back after a short break.
University is not meant for any fixed period of time. It is for years together. I don't think an inch of land should be alienated to any part of this institutions. I personally feel that the land should be what is it called? It has to be there is some word called mutation. It should be muted on the University of Hyderabad name, and that is what I expect from the administrators to do. Of course, there have been efforts on this, but meanwhile, at the present situation, the university has no power over the land because it has been given on lease. Therefore, the government of Andhra Pradesh, which is the authentic or the body which can allot land to any other institution which approaches government of Andhra Pradesh. Until and unless we get this land registered in the name of University of Hyderabad, this land alienation will continue, and the government of Andhra Pradesh will put pressure on the university administration, especially the Vice Chancellor and other administrators.
After discussing about this land allocation and biodiversity issues on University of Hyderabad campus, let us see what we as students, faculty and university community can do to curb this on our part. Dr. Soumya.
There are actions which should be taken both at the individual level and the institution level. So it's not like as an individual we can do everything, or as an institution one could do everything. I think this is connected to the last section which where we talked about what we could do, management of waste or plant construction and so on and so forth. So as a student, creating awareness, or as faculty members creating awareness is one such thing which everyone could do. But from the institution level, in collaboration with the whole community, university community as such, I think the planning should be at all levels. So I would think at both individual and the institution level, there needs to be a lot done, and steps should be taken, and initiation should always happen from the highest body, which is the administration.
Right.
In terms of land allotment, I think there is, as a community, the only thing we can do is appeal to the larger structure which is in place, which is essentially problematic, but it's something which I guess we have to figure out a way to deal with. But at a smaller scale, I think we can start with dealing with our own trash. You don't have to necessarily throw your waste around everywhere you go, right? If you go to the lake, you can bring it back. If you're not in your room and you have something you need to throw, just take it back to the dustbin. There is, it might seem pointless that even though I'm telling people to, or we're trying to get people to put their waste together, segregate it, and it still ends up in one place and it's being burnt. But I think the point also largely is better to have your waste burning in one place than having waste burning in 10 different places. It's not fair, or it's not right that this is the waste management system is progressing like this in a university which has great claims to its name. But I think the only thing we can do as students is and as communities individually clean up our acts, and from a larger sense put some pressure on the administration. Tell them, look, we're not going to deal with this. Stand up and do what's right. I guess that's all we can do.
इसके पहले भी जो है ये हमारे पास यूनिवर्सिटी में तेलुगु देशम सरकार की पीरियड में चंद्रबाबू नायडू ने जो है एक श्रमदान का काम प्रोग्राम बनाया था कि हर आदमी अपनी अपनी तरफ से पर्सनल कुछ काम करना, अपने एरिया में अपने इलाके को डेवलप करने के लिए, नीटनेस रखने के लिए, वो चीज़ को हमारे पास लागू किया गया था। और हम लोग भी जो है उस टाइम एम्प्लॉयज़ खुद जो है यहाँ से गोपनपल्ली तक जो है रोड बराबर नहीं थी, तो लोगों ने सफल फावड़े लेके रोड का काम किया, जहाँ भी कचरे थे सब उठा के फेंकने लग गए। यानी कि एक टाइम डिसाइड किया गया था कि महीने में ये एक दिन हम लोग ये काम करेंगे। बाद में ख़त्म हो गया। तो ये मेरा बोलने का मतलब ये है कि ये मैनेजमेंट को चाहिए कि वो फैकल्टीज़ को भी, स्टूडेंट को भी, एम्प्लॉयज़ को भी, कि महीने में एक दिन ऐसा निकालो जो पूरा नीटनेस के ऊपर ध्यान दे। जैसे सब्जेक्ट होता बच्चों के पढ़ाने के लिए, तो उसमें एक सब्जेक्ट बिल्कुल सफाईत का लगाए, महीने में एक दिन पूरे बच्चे कंपलसरी, पूरे फैकल्टीज़ कंपलसरी, एम्प्लॉयज़ भी वो जाके सफाईत करे, साफ़ करे, ताकि जो है हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी की स्वच्छता बनी रहे। ये करना चाहिए, ऐसा मेरा अपना विचार है।
So there was a time when the staff and students of the University of Hyderabad would personally clean up the trash in and around their campus. From there we have come to polluted lakes and dirty campus. So where are we exactly going? The size of the campus is going on decreasing and the biodiversity as well is decreasing. So while the blame game continues, it is still to figure out what is to be done. This was the episode of Speak Out. Thank you.